Thank you. Thank you.
I would like to call this meeting to order, February 24th, 2026. As I call us to order tonight, and I look out across the room at our law enforcement officers that work diligently in our school district each and every day, and even evenings, to provide a safe and welcoming environment, I think it would be appropriate to acknowledge the tragedy that occurred last night in Christian County. If you would all please join me, let's stand and take a moment of silence in honor of their sacrifice. Let the record show that all board members are present. We started at 5:33 with the exception of Board Member Kincaid. And Board Member Mahad Makani is with us via Zoom. Mr. Hall?
Thank you, board members. Good evening. Tonight we are pleased to introduce student representatives from Launch Virtual Learning to lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Students, would you please come forward? I'm going to brag on each of these students. We have Dayton Cato. Dayton, raise your hand. Natalie Cato. Then we have Ari Huggins, Harry Nations, and AJ Walker. These students are all officers of the Launch FFA chapter, and it's also important to note that Launch is the only virtual FFA chapter in the state of Missouri. Since this is National FFA Week, we invited them to join us along with their FFA sponsor, Christina Callison. Thank you for being here. Earlier this year, 6 outstanding students represented Launch FFA at the Area 10 Fall Public Speaking event, competing among 80 students from 24 different schools. AJ, raise your hand again, AJ. AJ placed first in Missouri Forest Products with a speech on sustainable forestry. Congratulations. Also advancing to compete in the Southwest District Finals next month. AJ has also served as chapter president for 2 years and was one of the original signing members who helped charter Launch FFA. She is also a member of the horse judging team this year. Dayton is vice president and is also an original charter signing member of Launch FFA. He is studying landscape design and maintenance and is a member of the entomology team. Let's see, we have Mesa is treasurer. I believe Mesa was unable to join us, and studies poultry production, marketing, and high-quality eggs to local customers. She's currently preparing for public speaking competition while serving on the horse judging team. Harry is chapter reporter, and he works full-time at a pet salon to develop the skills and experience to one day open his own pet grooming business. He is also a member of the entomology team. And finally, Ari is chapter reporter, and she is focused on developing her leadership skills as she prepares to compete in Creed Speaking, which focuses on reciting and answering questions about the FFA Creed. Thank you, students, for being here. Natalie also serves as a junior officer, training for future leadership with Launch FFA. She is actively preparing for FFA knowledge and Creed competitions, while also competing on the entomology team this spring. Isn't this an impressive group of student leaders? If you are a member, I know we have others from the Launch team. If you're a member of the Launch family and you're here to support these students, would you please stand? And at this time, we invite the audience to stand as well as these students lead our Pledge of Allegiance. Students, whenever you're ready. Dr. Lathan and Mrs. Bruner will take a group photo with these students. We've got Ari, and Natalie. Yeah, absolutely. And I want to make sure we have a guest. We weren't sure if they were able to join us tonight. Emily Hinkle, are you here tonight, Emily? Okay, I think we will reschedule our recognition of our Boys and Girls Youth Club of the Year winner for next meeting. Next, we want to introduce an Eagle Scout. Our next honoree is Central High School sophomore Liam Nelson. Liam, would you come forward, please? Liam recently earned the designation of Eagle Scout. This accomplishment requires an individual to earn 21 merit badges, which include mastering skills like first aid, communication, cooking, personal fitness, emergency preparedness, and life-saving, among many others. A scout must also plan, develop, and lead a service project that benefits another organization. Liam's service project focused on Scenic Church. He helped renovate the multi-purpose space in the church, creating an area that will encourage fellowship and a sense of community, especially among foster families that use that space regularly. Please join us in congratulating Liam for this remarkable accomplishment. We also would like to take a photo with Dr. Lathan and Mrs. Bruner. Congratulations. Next, we want to recognize winners of the Martin Luther King Jr. Day Essay Contest. In partnership with the Springfield NAACP, Springfield Public Schools hosts events each year that highlight the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., including an essay contest. On January 19th, 3 SPS students were named winners of the essay contest during the city's Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. Please join me in welcoming Sabrina Aldrich, Gabrielle Diamond, and Ariana Gavel. I believe Sabrina was unable to join us, but we'll recognize her anyway. Sabrina is an 8th grader, and Ariana is a 6th grader, both at Carver Middle School, and Gabrielle is a 7th grader at Pershing Middle School. The theme of the essay contest this year was creating a beloved community. Essays were judged on creativity, clarity, and adherence to the theme. Please join us in congratulating Sabrina, Gabrielle, and Ariana on their outstanding essays. Well done. Next up, we are going to recognize outstanding principals. The Springfield region of the Missouri Association of Elementary School Principals has selected 3 SPS principals as representatives for 2025-26 MAESP Distinguished Principals Program. Joanna Brockwell, Kristen Glenn, and Erica Homan, would you please come forward? The Distinguished Principals Program chooses principals who demonstrate leadership that ensures Missouri's children acquire a sound foundation for lifelong learning and achievement. These principals will be recognized during MAESP's annual leadership conference in March. Joanna Brockwell is principal at Watkins Elementary School. She's been selected as distinguished principal. Joanna's leadership has driven significant improvements in both behavioral and academic outcomes for all of the students at Watkins. She consistently goes above and beyond to support her staff and her students, which is evidenced by her deep commitment to the mission of our district. Erica Homan is assistant principal at McGregor Elementary and has been selected as outstanding assistant principal. Erica is a confident leader whose calm presence, dependable leadership, and genuine care have made a lasting impact. Erica's colleagues say that she shows up daily with a positive attitude. She jumps right in. She makes a positive difference with her daily actions. And finally, Dr. Kristen Glenn is the principal at Jeffries Elementary School, and she has been selected as exemplary new principal. Kristen has worked diligently to establish a culture of high expectations, collaboration, and continuous improvement at Jeffries. Under her leadership, Jeffries has earned recognition as a Tier 1 PBIS School of Excellence, which has resulted in implementing consistent behavior expectations, proactive supports, and restorative practices that have strengthened school culture and improved student engagement. Please join us in congratulating these remarkable principals for their accomplishment. Well done. Well done. Congratulations. Well done. Tonight we have a very special achievement to celebrate on behalf of the entire district, and this next presentation will be for Dr. Lathan and the entire board together. In January, our district received certification from the U.S. Department of Labor for our Registered Youth Apprenticeship Program for the heating and air conditioning pathway. Our apprenticeship program is designed to bridge the gap between the classroom and the workforce, ensuring SPS students graduate success ready with the technical and professional skills required in a rapidly changing workforce. We will soon be identifying 2 students to work for our HVAC team at the General Services Center to complete their apprenticeship. We would like to acknowledge our career technical education team for their work in developing this program and for earning the certification from the U.S. Department of Labor. At this time, I'd like to invite Dr. Ben Hackenworth, Mary Edgerton, and Amanda Vandergrift to come forward so that we may present the certificate to the Board of Education. And I also understand that we have some other guests with us, and I'd like for Mary to share who those guests are.
Yes, we have Ms. Betty Glasgow. She is the Southwest Regional Consultant for Registered Youth Apprenticeships, and she works hand in hand with school districts like ours to establish programs like this.
Let's have everyone come together. Yes, that's next. Yes, that's next. Yes. We are also pleased, as part of this announcement, to make another important introduction. Tonight, we announce that we are expanding already the Registered Youth Apprenticeship Program, and we will now offer a welding and grinding pathway in partnership with the Paul Mueller Company. We are currently in the process of obtaining certification from the Department of Labor for this apprenticeship, which will serve up to 5 additional students. Paul Mueller Company is one of the world's largest and most innovative manufacturers of stainless steel equipment, and our partnership with Paul Mueller will provide students with unique access to gaining experience in some very high-demand manufacturing careers. It is my honor to introduce Mr. Jeff Phillips, Chief Operating Officer, and his team from the Paul Mueller Company. Mr. Phillips, please come forward and introduce your team and share with our board, please, why the Paul Mueller Company is so interested in being a part of this mentorship.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to introduce David Moore, our Chief Executive Officer, and then Brandon Adamick, who is our Director of Sales and Marketing. And we're excited for this opportunity, and Brandon, I think, has a few words to share, just expressing our gratitude for the opportunity.
We are thrilled to partner with Springfield Public Schools and the Missouri Department of Labor to launch a welding and grinding youth apprenticeship program. Paul Mueller Company has been a cornerstone employer in the community since 1940 and remains one of the world's largest and most innovative manufacturers in our industry. We place the highest value on enhancing quality of life for both our employees and the community. This program uniquely advances both of these commitments. By collaborating with Missouri's largest public school system, we are providing students the opportunity to earn up to $25 per hour while gaining hands-on industry experience and earning valuable education credits, an embodiment of Paul Mueller's vision in action. Special thanks to Dr. Granita Lathan, Dr. Ben Hackenworth, and their dedicated team, including Mary Edgerton and Amanda Vandergrift, for spearheading this partnership and laying the foundation for future initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you. And the district will issue a news release, and this announcement will be posted to sps.org first thing in the morning regarding the expansion of the apprenticeship. And now finally, for Honoring Excellence, it is our honor to introduce the February Employee of the Month. The recipient is an English language development teacher who serves students at Glendale and Kickapoo High Schools. This employee is a fierce advocate for her students and helps bridge the gap with other teachers to ensure they have the support they need to be successful as they develop their fluency in English. Let's watch this video to learn more about Cassidy Claiborne.
Cassidy Claiborne, and I'm an ELD specialist, and I've been at SPS for 7 years. I was always really interested in languages. Growing up, I loved English. I took Spanish and studied Spanish throughout college as well. So ESL is kind of like the perfect blend for me. I I really enjoy being able to work with students from different cultures and kind of learning about their languages and their experiences. That's something that's just always been really fascinating to me.
I don't even know where to start. She's such a phenomenal person, first and foremost. She communicates with our teachers, all the time, letting them know of the students that are in their classes that need additional support with the English language.
We have some students who are coming in as possibly refugees or students who may have interrupted education experiences. We also have students who are immigrating here for other reasons, who could be for their family's jobs or just for opportunities. Because my students have such differing experiences and backgrounds, they often have a lot of perspectives that maybe we wouldn't talk about or consider as often. So it's really interesting to me when they get to kind of talk through those and apply what we're learning to their own lives and just kind of see what connections they make and even how they connect with each other. It lets us build those connections despite barriers that they might be facing with language or culture.
Her classroom is just a safe space for those students. When you're learning something new, you're going to make mistakes. So she lets them know that it's okay. This is a place where you can make those mistakes and we're going to learn together.
It's really awesome to watch them have those moments where something finally clicks or they're finally able to communicate it, because a lot of them, I think, have the knowledge and they have the understanding in their home languages. It's just getting their point across in English that's challenging.
She was born to be a teacher and an educator, selfless, putting others first. And I think that really shines in the classroom when she's working with our ELD students.
It's really inspiring to see what the kids do and how every day they're pushing themselves to get better and be better and seek out opportunities. I think it's a lesson we can all learn.
Congratulations to Ms. Claiborne. Would you please come forward? Well done. Congratulations, Ms. Claiborne. And that concludes Honoring Excellence for February. Thank you.
A lot of excellence there, I would say. Our next agenda item is the approval of the agenda. Our recommended action is that the board approve the agenda as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Board Member Huff moved. A second? Board Member Provance, second? All in favor? Aye. Aye. 6 affirmative. Chair votes aye. Thank you. We have now come to the portion of our meeting where we hear from speakers. The Board of Education welcomes comments about the issues being discussed. The board uses this time in our meeting to listen to the public, but will not comment or engage with the public during this meeting. The board allows for up to 10 speakers per public comment period. The board chair will call on individuals in the order in which they signed up. Substitutions are not permitted. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes and will be timed by the board secretary. Comments must be acceptable for a business and family-friendly environment. Inappropriate language, gestures, or personal attacks will not be tolerated. It is inappropriate to address the board about individual students or individual staff members by name in open meetings. If you have concerns about individuals, these concerns should be addressed through the appropriate administrative supervisors, either in the schools or in the district office. If you have materials that you would like to share, please place them in a tray on the podium and they will be distributed to board members following the meeting. Our first speaker this evening is Abigail Sharp.
Good evening. I'm here on behalf of Reed Academy to talk about the proposed changes to our choir program. Reed Academy is a fine arts school. That's one of the main reasons students choose to come here. Choir isn't just a class, it's a part of what makes our school Reed. If the choir program is changed, it won't just affect one class period. It'll change the way our fine arts program runs and the experience future students have when they come to Reed. Choir is involved in performances, school events, and represent our school in the community. We travel, compete, and go on amazing trips. It brings students together and shows what Reed is capable of. When people think about Reed Academy, they think about the arts. Changing choir would change the image and what our school stands for. Ms. Dameron and Mr. Falcomata are also a big reason why choir is so important. They push students to be better and take pride in what we do. They care about the program and the students in it. For students who want to pursue music in the future, our amazing choir teachers give them the confidence to pursue that path. Cutting the choir program short wouldn't just change our schedule. It would take away something a lot of students really care about. We already have 200 students signed up for the program next year, and if the program gets cut, they might not even get the chance to do it. Changing the choir program would mean changing something that truly represents Reed Academy. Choir isn't just extra, it's a part of who we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Abigail. Our next speaker is Tiana Bedell.
My name is Tiana, and I'm here to talk about the changes being presented to the choir program. Choir is more than just singing. It's a community and a motivation for many students. The reason why they want to come to school is mostly for choir. Having 2 full-time directors would make such a big difference in our program. First, having 2 directors means that we can have more choir classes with fewer students, which means less discipline and less distraction. When there are fewer people, it's easier to focus on individuals and they get more attention. Instead of teachers trying to listen to 40 voices at once, 2 directors can easily hear us. They give specific feedback to each student to improve. Different teachers also hear different things. One might notice tone while the other might notice something different. It's an important reason that middle schoolers have, it's an important reason that middle schoolers have 2 directors, because male voices change and go through voice cracks, so a male director can easily help that and understand that experience, while having a female director can help the girls. Both directors serve as role models, and each student can feel understood and supported. Choir also teaches us how to be a big part of something that's bigger than ourselves. We learn how to communicate, and it's a big community. Choir brings people together who might not normally hang out. We sing and we listen to each other. We have to blend. We build trust with each other, and that builds teamwork and respect. It also helps us grow emotionally. Different genres can stir up different emotions. It's about experience and connection. Finally, choir helps with attendance and motivation. Students are more likely to come to school when they have something they enjoy. It's an extra opportunity for those who need a reason to keep pushing. There are students out there that want to keep going, and choir has helped them improve, getting into more honor classes because choir gave them the confidence. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiana. Next, we have our consent agenda items. The consent agenda consists of standard monthly items as well as items that were presented during the February 10th, 2026 study session, and the board has been given an opportunity to review the items and ask questions at that time, as well as submit any questions via email since the study session. In keeping with Robert's Rules of Order, let the minutes show 2 of the items that were previously listed under the consent agenda, board policies and student nutrition management expenditures, were pulled out of the consent agenda earlier today and are now listed as 3 separate agenda items under consent agenda, unfinished business at the request of a board member, and are now items 5.01, 5.02, and 5.03. Our recommended action is that the board approve consent agenda items 4.01 through 4.08. Do I have a motion? Board Member Smart moved. A second?
Second.
Board Member Huff, second. All in favor? Dr. Mahatma Khani? Did you say aye?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. And chair votes aye, 6 affirmative. Now we will move on to the items mentioned earlier for consent agenda unfinished business. 5.01, Board Policy Adoptions Revisions, Board Policy IIA. The recommended action is that the board approve the policy as presented. Do I have a motion? Dr. Thomas Tate moved. Is there a second? Board Member Huff, second. Discussion? Comments? Dr. Mahatma Khani?
Judy?
Yes.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
I brought this up the last time, and I've asked my colleagues to consider this. I'd like to make a motion to lay this policy on the table until we receive the accompanying policies, which are EHB, EHBC, and EHBD. Now, we might not get all of them as they go through our system, but they are all tied at the hip. And I think it would be in our best interest to do that. So I'd like to make the motion to lay this policy on the table for the time being.
Do we have a second for the motion? No second to the motion, Dr. Mahatma Khani.
No worries. I'd like to make another motion
Sure?
to amend this policy, if I can get your attention on the second paragraph, last sentence, which is currently struck out. Starts with the superintendent and ends with payment. Would you like me to read it?
That would be helpful for the audience as well as us, I think.
Okay, currently, the old policy read, the superintendent or designee shall audit all claims and submit to the board for approval and authorization for payment. It is currently struck out, and this is something that we already do, and I've gone into some detail about this. And I realize that it's not going to make a difference, and so for that reason, I'd like it to remain. If this is something we do, I don't think it's redundant, and I think I'd like to make an amendment to keep that sentence where it is.
I'm having a little bit of trouble pulling it up on my computer, so I back in. Okay. Just the superintendent part, okay. She did make a motion. Is there a second? Dr. Thomas Tate seconded. Dr. Mahatma Makhani made the motion. Discussion? Comments?
It's slightly redundant, but I would be okay with adding it back. I don't know that it makes that much of a difference. But if it is a preference of the board member, then I will be okay with leaving it in.
Okay. Other comments? Board Member Provence, were you gonna? Just gonna sneeze, well, bless you. Okay. Any other comments? So how does the motion read exactly?
Amended motion?
Pardon me?
It's an amended motion?
The amended motion.
Yeah.
Right, that's what we're voting on, the amended motion. Exactly how does that
want me to
read? Please,
Do you want me to repeat it?
please. Well, the, as amended. Okay, as amended. Thank you.
You have to vote on the amendment first.
Yes, you do.
So we have the motion. The amendment, pardon me. Okay, okay, yeah, just let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Miriam?
She said aye.
Did you say
I
aye?
thought you were going to do roll call vote. Yes.
Okay. And chair votes aye, so it passes with 7. Thank you. Student nutrition, item 5.03, student nutrition management expenditures. The recommended act,
One more policy.
well, I didn't, okay.
Well,
5.2.
So you still have to go back now and vote on the policy as you voted on her. She made a
How to
motion
amend
to
it.
So now you still need to vote one more time to vote on the, so now you're going to read the recommended action.
Okay, well, let's try it again then. The recommended action is that the board approve the policy as amended.
Yeah.
Now do I have a motion? Did we already do that?
Are we,
We're still on the same policy, Miriam. Now we're voting on the.
Amended.
the amended.
Amended version.
okay, so which, are we on 5.1 still?
No, I'm on 5.0.
we're on the first policy,
Oh, yeah, 5.01, correct.
policy IIA.
Well,
No, yeah, that's the one. That's the one. We're still on the same one.
Thank you.
So you making the motion, Miriam?
Oh, yeah, I thought, so we voted on the amendment and now we're voting on
on the,
the motion, on the actual item, which I thought already had a motion
well, we,
and a second.
It's a different.
that was to
a
amend
different-
it,
Yeah.
I believe.
Come again, say that again?
I think that the motion by Dr. Thomas Tate and the second by Board Member Huff was for your amendment,
To accept the amendment.
to accept the amendment.
Now we're voting on the actual.
That wasn't it?
I made the motion and Dr. Thomas Tate had seconded, and I thought we just voted on it.
To amend it. Dr. Lathan, would you like to speak up?
So I think we have to approve the amendment, and then we approve the actual policy.
But
So
we are-
there's two actions that are required there.
Well, I thought we
Yep.
approved,
We approved the amendment, now we have to approve the amended policy.
Sharita and Sarah approved it, you opened it up for discussion. So they approved it so you could move forward. So it's still one more vote.
Yes.
well, let's vote.
So we need but we need someone to make a motion and someone
Yep.
to second it.
Okay.
I'll make the motion.
Are you getting this, Ms. Nepa? Because you probably have to go back and watch the video.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Board Member Smart, for your affirmation there. All in favor?
Do
We don't have a second.
I thought we seconded.
Gail's gonna
Gail,
second, yeah.
okay.
Sharita and Gail.
Did you get that? Sharita and Gail. I'm going to run away. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. That's 6. Whew. Okay, now let's talk about 5.02, policy, board policy adoptions revisions, board policy IIAC. The recommended action is that the board approve the policy as presented.
So moved.
Dr. Thomas Tate
Second.
moved. Did you second it? Miriam?
Yes.
Thank
I
you.
did.
Discussion?
I just want to make one point, if I may.
Please don't amend it. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. And I know we brought this up. So in the update explanation, it includes that MSB has added text which outlines the process for formal review of public questions, comments, and concerns. And when I had reached out to them, they indicated that it was embedded in policy Administrative Procedure KLB-AP1. Now, our district does not formally have that administrative procedure, and that's fine. But I know that we do have a structure in place because we've done this a couple times before. If Dr. Lathan, if you could share that, the district practice, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Dr. Lathan indicated she would send it.
I believe so. Or I just
The
asked
procedure.
for it.
Yeah. Is that your only comment, Dr. Mahatmakani?
Yes, I mean, I thought I'd asked before, but I didn't know if I was clear, so I just wanted to be clear and clarify.
Sure. Okay. Any other questions or comments on board policy IIAC? You want to say that louder so the audience can hear? No. Okay. Okay. So the recommended action is that the board approve the policy as presented. Dr. Thomas Tate moved. Dr. Mahatmakani seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Miriam? Chair votes aye. That's 6 affirmative. Now we're at item 5.03, student nutrition management expenditures. The recommended action is the board approve the committee recommendation for Airmark for food service management services as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Dr. Thomas Tate moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Board Member Huff, seconded. Comments, questions? Dr. Mahatmakani?
Thank you. I had some, I want to have some dialogue with Mrs. Kim Kelleher.
Do you want her to come to the podium, Dr. Mahatmakani? She's in the audience.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good evening.
Hi, it's really awkward doing this because I can't see your face, so I apologize. I can only see like the board. So this is weird. Hi, Kim. How many years is this contract for?
It's for 1 year with 4 renewables, so a total of 5.
Thank you. Thank you for responding to my many questions. With respect to the dinner program, it's a really nice explanation, and I don't want to get into the details, but I do want to ask a few questions on it. So in order for, so that the program, it has to be on school grounds. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and then it says any child 18 and under may participate, but presumably only SPS students, right?
Actually, it's any child 18 and under.
Okay, so neighborhood kids that
They
may not
could.
even be in school or may not attend school can also receive the meal or the snack then, okay?
That's correct.
And
They would
then
just have to
who's
go
paying
through the
for this? I
front.
assume it's the USDA, it's the federal government.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Who's paying for it? Is it USDA, the federal government?
It's reimbursed, the dinner program's reimbursed by Department of Health and Senior Services through the CACFP program and after school and at-risk after-school meals.
The Department of Health and Senior Services. And overall, to what extent would you say we have participation? I mean, like you can give me an estimate of how much money is being paid.
Can I get that number back to you? I'm sorry, I don't have that right off the top of my head. I apologize.
Sure. And what does, there's base reimbursement rate and then there's cash in lieu. What does that mean?
That has to do with our commodities and how much commodities we utilize with that program. We get a cents on the meal.
90 cents is actually reimbursed by Department of Health and Senior Services.
The bigger numbers are the reimbursement, the smaller is the in lieu.
Got it. Thank you. I really like all the information you gave on the many committees, the Menu Advisory Committee, the Student Menu Advisory Committee, Department Menu Advisory Committee, and then there's the Wellness Committee, which I actually used to attend. I thought it was a really good group of diverse people. Could you share with me in the future, I kept, every time I came, I put my name on the list, hoping that I would just kind of get the updates, but I haven't. It is a board-appointed committee, so it's open to the public. I would appreciate
For the Wellness Committee?
sharing with the board the dates for the meetings in the future.
For the Wellness Committee or for all of them?
You know, I don't want to put you on the spot, and I'm not going to, but I wanted to share some information with you, and then I have 4 questions I want to ask, and I'm going to go over my 5 minutes. We can stop, give everybody an opportunity to chime in, and then I can pick up my second 5 minutes. Some of the questions that I was seeking answers to was why we provide milk that has added sugar. Why do we even provide skim milk when we have 1%? They're not substantially different. You know, why not offer 2%, especially in K-5? You know, when you're in elementary schools, I've noticed that the kids are all picking up orange juice and chocolate milk. And I wanted to just bring to your attention that the top health experts released January of 2025 recommendations for kids and teens, what they should drink. So kids between 5 and 18 should drink mostly water and plain milk, and that other beverages like plant-based milk alternatives and flavored milks should be limited. And it's not just from a nutritional standpoint, but these sugary drinks are the biggest culprits for tooth decay. And just so that everybody's on the same page, who I consider the expert, these are evidence-based recommendations from review of scientific literature and existing guidelines. And the people that came to the table to put this all together was the American Academy of Pediatrics, Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, American Academy of Pediatric Dentistry, and American Heart Association. And this was actually funded by the American Heart Association, so it was seen as a really big deal. And I wanted to bring that to your attention.
Dr. Mahatma
Thank you for listening to me. A couple other things.
Dr. Mahatma Khani,
Thank you for sharing the
Dr.
student
Mahatma
viewpoint
Khani.
survey. I noted that there were 36 students and parents who participated. And on
Miriam?
the question of what are the 3 things we can do to improve? And I'm off my 5 minutes, so I'll stop.
Thank you. Other board member questions or comments before she has a second 5 minutes?
I would just like to say that we've had this discussion ad nauseum, and I'd like to call the question.
Okay. We've had a call the question. Does that get seconded? And Board Member Provance seconds it. All in favor?
We have to roll call that.
We have to roll call that.
Third
Thank you.
vote.
Board Member Huff?
Aye.
Aye.
Miriam?
No.
Chair votes aye, and so it passes with 5 votes. Okay, thank you. Next is item 6.01.
You gotta vote
Oh,
on
well.
the motion.
I'm going to run out the door. You do it fine. It's quite all right. Okay. Oh, yeah, the recommended action is that the board approve the committee recommendation for Aramark for food service management services as presented. It's Dr. Thomas Tate moved, Sarah Huff did the second. All in favor?
Question of privilege.
And the chair votes aye, so that would be, Miriam hasn't voted on this yet. What's your next comment, Miriam?
Well, I just wanted to bring it to the attention of the board that this is highly unusual, and our board protocol had called for, we follow Robert's rule, 2 rounds of 5 minutes. I think it would be detrimental to the board relations to cut off debate on something that is normal and routine and not out of order. Well, I was not afforded the opportunity to ask my questions.
So noted, Dr. Mahatma Khani. Are we voting again?
I'd like to call for a roll call vote.
We did do a roll call vote.
I don't is it my turn yet?
It is your turn, yes. And we'll do it again. Board Member Huff? Chair votes aye. Miriam?
Abstain.
Abstain. So 5 yes and 1 abstain. Okay, thank you. Items, excuse me, 6.01, explore collective bargaining side letter agreements. Dr. Brett Range will join us with this agenda item.
Good evening, Ms. Bruner, Dr. Lathan, and fellow board members. Pursuant to Board of Education Policy HA, the district negotiated with the Springfield National Education Association to reach tentative side letter agreements relative to wages, benefits, and other terms and conditions of employment for covered employees. As a reminder, a side letter is a legal binding agreement between the Board of Education and the union that operates as an addendum to the main collective bargaining agreement. Side letters are meant to address specific issues not covered in the original contract, and in the context of this presentation, they relate to the Explore Summer School session and the Launch adjunct teaching roles in our district. Ms. Benny and her teams have ratified the following side letters. For the Explore program, administrative assistants, school nurses, school police, specialized instructional support personnel, which is SISP, support staff, educators, and nutrition services. Additionally, they have ratified the Launch adjunct teacher side letter, which also covers Explore and also their employment during the regular school year. All negotiations were done via email and phone calls, and the negotiation teams did not meet face-to-face. The tentative agreements are included in the board packet, and approval of the board is requested this evening.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Board Member Huff moved. A second?
Second.
Board Member Smart had already seconded it there, Miriam.
No worries.
Questions, comments? Let's vote. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? It passes with 6 affirmative. Chair votes aye. Item 7.20, 7.01, the 2023 bond project updates and actions, change orders, and agreements. Mr. Dilday will present information on the 2023 change orders and agreements. 2023? Okay. The recommended, Mr. Dilday. Oh, please go. Now I'm going to throw my bracelet. This is not my night.
It's not your evening this evening. Good evening, Board. So before you tonight is change order agreements. I'll point out there is one change order for Navajo for safety and security. That is for the high school door upgrade. We're adding some additional exit devices. So we changed the original contract on that. A couple of agreements that I'll point out. The next phase, as you recall, as we've moved through safety and security on doors and hardware, we're adding in 15 middle school projects at this point in time. That is door upgrades, door replacements, hardware upgrade, replacement as needed. and then we'll follow behind that with the Genetec access control. That total is $566,176,000. In addition, there's camera, under safety and security, the camera upgrades for elementary buildings at $131,346. And then I'll point out, as we're moving forward with Pipkin and Reed Middle Schools, the athletic weight equipment for those two buildings is in here. Total this evening is $809,385.
Do I have a motion? Board Member Provance moved, a second. Board Member Huff, second. Questions, comments for Mr. Dilday?
My only comment I have is lefties pump and drilling.
Lefties pump and
Sorry.
drilling is what she said.
I'll stop.
Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, 6 affirmative. Now, item 7.02, quarterly bond update. Mr. Dilday will now provide a quarterly update on the progression of the construction work supported by the 2023 bond issue.
Can't believe we're already 3 months into this since the last presentation, but progress as promised. All of our projects are moving ahead very well, and we're on schedule and on budget on these projects. As presented in previous updates, the 2023 bond projects, I mean, it's all over the city, and this just kind of takes us back to recalling all the projects that we've completed and projects that are currently in progress. Our project sequencing, currently we have Reed and Pipkin Middle School that is in construction. We will be opening those schools, both school buildings, in August of this year, so exciting times to open 2 brand-new middle schools and have a nice home for our students to come back to. Bingham, Bissett, and Pershing, Bingham Elementary, Bissett Elementary, and Pershing Middle School is all in design phases, and we anticipate bringing the cost for those projects to the board in the springtime. They're in final phases of design. Safety and security. As you are aware, door sensors, access control, cameras, and roof sensors are all ongoing projects. There's so much work to be done on all those projects, but as we're moving through, you're seeing these camera projects coming from our IT department and access control and door replacements. That's all part of the safety and security for the district. Again, this is a list of all the 2023 projects across the city and which ones have been completed and currently the ones that are in progress. Our financials on our bonds, currently we're estimated our excess budget balance is around $108 million. Keep in mind, we're still waiting on the Bingham, Bissett, and Pershing budgets to come in. So that number will be affected once we start bringing those numbers back to the board. Reed Middle School, beautiful building. This building really is going to have a lot of historical character to it that we all have really enjoyed. If you look at this picture, this is the old exterior, or the old entrance going into the old Reed building. We've reclaimed that. Most of you have been on a tour and seen the work that's been taking place there. So history coming into the modern building. We've preserved quite a bit of items to go in that area, and it'll be exciting once it's completed. This is in the academic wing upstairs at Reed. Really moving along, painting's done. If you notice on the walls, the wall tile is in place, flooring's in place. Most of the drop ceiling, ceiling tile, lighting, everything is there and turning out to be a really nice building. A couple weeks ago, the gymnasium floor crew was there and installing all the maple wood for the gym, and now that all the wood is complete, it's a process to get that down. It has to acclimate to the building temperature, and then they start laying it, and that work is now done. Pipkin Middle School, Pipkin is moving rapidly. It is fast-tracked and really coming along quite well. If you look at the exterior, this is the south elevation looking back to it, and that'll be the main front door to the building. This is a picture of the west end of the building. We just completed the gravel work there is underground water retention. We'll collect our water where it's not running off our property, and there's underground retention there for that. Bingham Elementary, keep in mind these are the renderings for Bingham. It's the first time you've got to see them, but these are renderings. This is the main front entrance going into the building. You got the beautiful, beautiful entrance there. This will be the south elevation of the building. This two-story academic section to the left there. And then here is the floor plan. So the left section, the two-story is the left side of this screen. And then this will be the upper level. I'm sorry? Yes, Cherry. Let me ask. Cherry's the East Street? North Street. It'd be East Street. So it'd be Barnes. Sorry. Interior of the building. This is the gymnasium, storm shelter area, just like our other ones. We got the stage up in the center of the picture there. Going to be a nice facility for students. No more cafetorium that kids are having to have gym and lunchtime at the same time in a very small, crowded area. Another little bit of a history of the Bingham going on the hallway hall there. Another interior rendering of it. They are the Blue Jays, and if you look at the end of the hallway, the yellow part there is a replica of a birdhouse. So you'll see some of that in some of the design. And in progress as promised, the video. Tammy, I don't know if I can, there we go. As you can tell, a lot of great work going across the district and exciting times for Springfield with new buildings coming online. So, any questions I can answer?
Questions, comments?
Thank you.
Big thank you. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, Pipkin. Where's Pipkin? I don't know where Pipkin is. It's now time for item 8.01, Dr. Lathan's update.
Thank you, board members. Yes, board members, a tour will be scheduled for you for Pipkin. As make a little bit more progress, give us about another month or two, and then we will be glad to take you out and take you around. Last Friday, we hosted Principal for a Day across the district. Over 50 business leaders were actually out in our schools visiting with our principals and teachers. I want to thank them for their support of Principal for a Day. It's always exciting when we can open up our schools and let people see the things that are occurring on a daily basis across our district. Just to remind you that Explore registration opens next week. We will offer seated classes for kindergarten through 8th grade students this summer, and then virtual classes for 1st through 12th grade. Session 1, June 1st through the 26th for our K-8 seated classes, and then June 1 through 26th for virtual, and July 6th through 31st for virtual. Also, throughout the month of March, I'll offer engagement opportunities. I'll have Let's Talk Live and Superintendent Solutions for our leaders, and then Superintendent Solutions for teachers in April. And finally, spring break is about 2 weeks away. Our students will be out March the 13th through March the 20th, and our district offices will be closed on Friday, March the 20th. That concludes my comments, board members.
Thank you, Dr. Lathan. Other comments from the board? Board Member Smart?
First of all, I want to say thank you, Dr. Lathan, for bringing Springfield Principal for a Day to Springfield, and what a great success that is. And I've had several friends go through the program, and they have shared their experiences on Facebook. So if you don't mind, if I could read from Philip Herzog.
Yeah.
He was there on Friday. He was at Wilson's Creek Intermediate. So bear with me a minute. So I asked Philip if I could share this, and he said yes. So he says, good things are happening at and through SPS, and it rocked me up in a great way. He's very enthusiastic. He's a very enthusiastic guy. Friends, my work and faith remind me that we are all people of influence. And this week, I was overtly influenced by 350-plus middle schoolers at Wilson Creek Intermediate. My biggest takeaway, all people want to succeed, and these small people are vigilant, have big ideas, and are so much more than the uncomfortable labels we put on them. Being principal with Dr. Ron Woodard, Assistant Principal Tambra Lee, and Counselor Jim Wilson, and many incredible teachers and students made me curious and confident about Springfield's education system. These leaders genuinely care about these kids and are equipped as a team with deep strengths to serve them. It's not easy, and they make it look great. In 2026, public education is more challenging than ever, and students deal with new worlds of opportunity and drift. So I was truly moved and wrote more than a Facebook post should have. I got to start my Friday, February 20th, by witnessing the inaugural ROR, Resilience, Opportunity, Respect podcast with host Ron and 4 students. They did not practice. They had 5 minutes of prep, and it was truly exceptional. All day I kept thinking, is this real? Friends, it was and is. I was captivated at Ron's first question about the students' thought about the no phone laws in school. He gave them an easy out by saying, is this overreach? Each said no and expressed their desire to be less distracted by phones and to be a better friend or person. Later topics included the need to be outside, to have grit, great things to do in Springfield, and the desire to grow your friendships. Ron unpacked with the students how the podcast came to be. Students constantly write him a note with a question, and ROR is a way to give the students space to share their voice among their peers and hear from more than one leader. It was a wonderful real-world example of Ron's ability to, 1, set them up for success to share their voice with his leadership, 2, model that conversation to the whole school to spark depth and connection and engagement, and 3, to help students who are achieving build positive social capital and relationship beyond their phones. So he has different outcomes, and then he says, what's next? SPS does not have every answer, but they have something powerful, the Springfield community. Our schools need our support and our awareness. Bring ideas, bring challenges, bring your time and energy to collaborate and trust. because they want what's best for these kids too. If you have ideas, needs, be like these middle schoolers and work together to build a coalition. So I just want to say thank you to Philip for writing that and sharing his experiences and how much he enjoyed it. And thank you for sharing how much that meant to you. So I haven't participated in Springfield as principal for a day yet, but I hope to the next time. So thank you. Yeah.
Dr. Mahatma Khani, would you like to make a comment or comments?
Sure. So I got to experience Principal for a Day. Hold on, I gotta get my timer going. I got to experience Principal for a Day, and it really was really good. It was a tremendous opportunity for me to learn in a very meaningful way, and it could just be me because I like to more than scratch the surface. So I found it very, very, very educational. And it helped me understand, because I'm not a K-12 educator, but it helped me understand processes and procedures and like the initiatives. And I know that people come to our board meeting, and counselors and teachers and principals, but until you see it in action, it's just a whole different thing. Let me give you an example. So PBIS, Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports. I didn't really realize how much consequences, so consequences for not positive behavior, so consequences for actions that are not wanted, were actually part of PBIS. And that's why it's working so well. So it is, it's got both arms working. And so, I got to see that in action, and it helped me understand PBIS so much better. So I think there's a lot of value to it. I highly recommend it. I think every board member should attend. And I got to do a 2-on-1 because I know, we only have so many schools, but I got to experience Principal for a Day with another actually school board member, president of Nixon School Boards, Heather Zaromsky. And I thought it even made it better because here I have an opportunity to learn from her questions. So I think it made it, double the fun and double the learning. So I know that I'm going to ask to do it again because most people just, has one person per principal. But I think if we doubled up, it would give us the entire board, and I highly recommend it.
Thank you.
I do have another comment I wanted to make, but I'll stop and let everybody talk about Principal for a Day if they want.
Does anyone else have a comment about Principal for a Day? Dr. Mahatma Khani, why don't you go ahead with your other comments, and then I don't think anybody else is commenting on that particular piece.
Okay. Well, I wanted to comment about how we shut down conversation earlier. And I wanted to say that I was really happy to support the nutrition contract. And I don't think it helps board relationships when you prevent a board member who's not out of line and is following proper board procedures to ask questions. And my questions were pretty basic. It had to do with things that I know that are important to everybody, such as a commitment to providing. I wanted to make sure I got some specifics in there about commitment to providing nutritious and balanced meals that support students' health and learning, which I know everybody supports, reducing added sugars, less processed food, more scratch cooking, things we all know and support. And I wanted to commend them for their nutrition service employee survey of actively seeking input from their employees so that they can be responsive. And I wanted an opportunity to commend Kim Kelleher for actively seeking student viewpoint surveys from parents and students, and to encourage her to continue that work and to expand it. But I didn't have that opportunity. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to share with the board something I wasn't planning on sharing, but I will, because maybe these are some things that need to be said. The students were all asking, by the way, for more fresh food, better taste, more healthy food options, food temperature. I assume that means they wanted hot food, and less pre-made food. And these are from elementary students. There were only 36 students and parents, nevertheless. But there was a survey that went out to their employees, and I don't know how many employees they have, but 54 responded. And some of the responses are somewhat concerning. Do you feel supported by Airmark? 52 individuals said no, and only 2 said yes. How manageable is your workload during a typical shift? About half of the individuals responding said it was unmanageable or very unmanageable. Do you feel that your work is valued and appreciated? More people said rarely or never. Do you feel staffing levels are adequate to safely and effectively do your job? Again, a majority said no. Are issues being addressed professionally and fairly? Majority said no. Do you feel the food quality has improved? Only 2 people. Declined 29. Stayed the same 23. Do you feel comfortable speaking up without fear or retaliation? Only 7 people said yes and 47 people said no. The good news is overall, there was satisfaction with the job. Most people felt satisfied or neutral, so that's a good thing. But I wanted to bring this to your attention. I don't know if you're aware of this survey, and there's many other questions.
Marianne?
But I think that there's always room for, and I realize I'm over my 5 minutes, so I'll stop and I'll take a second round, unless the board feels that you can PQ board comments as well.
Dr. Thomas Tate, comment?
Our debate time is not meant to give speeches. It's meant to clarify and ask questions, and as of this time, our board member was not asking questions, they were just giving a speech. And the time is being misused to give a speech and then use their time again to have another speech, particularly when there's no debate. We've had a study session with an opportunity to have quite robust debate. So it is in line with Robert's rules to cut off to put time limits on debate. And those time limits are there in order to force speakers to be succinct and to get to the point and not just go on and on with information that has already been discussed and offered for opinion.
Other board member comments? Board Member Provance?
It's archery time. Today was the last archery tournament before we go to state, and there will be several schools going, and I was so excited that we have had archers qualify from all schools within the history of the program. A couple of changes this year that I want to make sure that kind of reflect back on. We've always kind of said that kids that are in the archery program, they maintain their attendance, their grades, and their citizenship in order to participate. And a lot of us probably thought, of course, you have to be there on the day of the archery tournament to participate. But, this year, students had to maintain their 90% attendance to participate, which meant that they've been working on their attendance since the first day of school to maintain their ability to be in programs. And, at first I thought, wow, if you had a serious illness or injury, you would be out. But schools allow you to, are you improving your attendance? Are you working up to that 90%? Is this continually a way to incentivize the kids to get out of bed every day and get there on time? And I've been very pleased with that. I mean, I really think that it worked, and it continues to work. After the previous tournament, a young lady from Parkview came up, and she said, I need to do this for a school assignment. And she goes, what joys do you have in volunteering? And I said, archery brings me great joy. And she followed that up, and she goes, well, what exactly do you like about the program that, you know, we do need younger workers, by the way, so I need more people in here. No one with an AARP card. But, you know, my answer to her was, you know, the diversity in the archery program is incredible. Everyone can participate. And then the second thing was, I said, you know, this is such a happy experience for everyone. You know, when you go to a basketball game, I want to use that as an example, you know, one team's fans are on one side of the gym and the other fans are sit on the other side. And in archery, you don't cheer against anyone. You're sitting with someone whose child is participating opposite you. It's a individual sport, but the team sport doesn't compete to beat the other one. The team sport encourages the level of competition to raise the scores. And I really had to think about it. And, you know, archery is such an outstanding program in that. I need to thank Dr. Scott and Jason Michael for supporting the program. I want to go back all the way to Denise Frederick when she was the president of the school board, sitting on that stage at Parkview, that watched that tournament and came back and said, this is worth funding, and helped us, you know, start that first program. I have to thank the coaches. It's a very short season. They go to practice early in the morning and they stay late at night. And they are as invested in their kids going to state as the individuals. So kudos. Thank you for the archery program, for what it does.
Board Member Huff, comment?
Yeah, I would
Please.
say in the spirit of competition, Coach Provance, I got to attend my first science Olympiad competition as a parent. I had no idea what to expect on Saturday, but you know, I have a son who's doing science Olympiad this year. It's his first year, but just have been so impressed with Miss Ligon and the team at Central, and I know Science Olympiad exists at other schools as well, and kids are preparing and competing. Williams' little team, the Red Pugs or Central Baby Pugs, I don't know what they call them, got first overall, which was so fun. He was very excited, but it is the season for competitions, and kids across the district are competing in things like Science Olympiad and archery and sports and achieving great things. We heard about an Eagle Scout tonight, and so just as a board, I would encourage us to reflect on our role in supporting students and helping them succeed in whatever they choose to do, and celebrating with them. So every decision that we make as a board should be focused on that, and our conversation should be focused on that. So I do want to call special, I love when I see the press release come out about the National Merit Scholarship finalist. Incredible, incredible honor for 7 of our students to be listed as National Merit Scholarship finalists. So I want to celebrate them tonight. Man, that does not happen without a lot of hard work, a lot of teachers and family members supporting them along the way. So I want to just conclude with saying congratulations to those 7 students and those across the district who are doing great things.
Thank you. Along with the archery, I had the opportunity to attend one of the competitions. Well, I don't know, was it a competition? Not sure. Out at the fairgrounds last week. And for those of you in the audience that maybe haven't had an opportunity to visit a middle school lately, people have this mindset of what a middle school is or is not. But I will tell you, I watched the 6th grade competition. It was like a drill team. It was very precise, very well organized. I didn't see anybody push. I didn't see anybody shove. I didn't see anybody doing the high five. They all knew exactly what they were supposed to do. Susan had her noisemaker, whatever it was, there you go. And I'm telling you what, they knew what to go do. So it's teaching self-discipline, which is a real important life skill to have. So it does a lot of really good things. And I didn't see anybody that was unhappy. I didn't see any tears. The stands were filled with grandparents mostly because they're not working and they can go and watch. But it was a wonderful experience. So thank you, Coach Provance, for hanging in there, and for Donnie, the other Coach Provance that works along with that. So it's very exciting to watch, and for anyone that hasn't had an opportunity to see it, you're really missing out. It's unbelievable. I'll just say that. Dr. Mahatma Khani, you asked for another 5?
Oh, sure. Well, attending one of those archery tournaments is on my to-do list, Susan. I'm coming at some point. Well, thank you for everyone's comments. I think that we have to, especially at this crucial time that we're, probably going to be tweaking our strategic plan and entering into some important discussions with each other. It's important to make sure that we preserve our bonds as school board members. I think that, presenting and trying to have a discussion with board members and asking questions and beginning by presenting facts is seen as giving a speech. That's really unfortunate. And I think for my colleagues to go along with that, let me tell you something. This does not happen in other board meetings, okay? So it's highly unusual. I just wanted a few more minutes to talk about something that's so important as the health and nutrition of our students. And to not, our group collectively, afford that opportunity to a board member that was elected to that position, similar to all of us, is really deeply disappointing. And to be honest with you, I'm actually embarrassed on behalf of the board. We wonder at times, or if you're wondering, some people wonder why is that there's so much scrutiny or perhaps criticism of the public education system, and why are things shifting, and why are people saying the things they're saying or thinking the things they're thinking? It's precisely because of this sort of an attitude that here we have the largest school district in the state, and there's no room for conversation. They call it a debate, call it a speech, call it whatever you want. But this is precisely where these discussions, where these conversations, where these speeches, whatever you want to call it, need to happen on substantively important topics. And I'm not saying that archery or principal for a day or all these other items aren't important, but we all come to this board table with our experiences, our knowledge, and we all represent the community. And so I think that, when we ask these questions, we have to look at ourselves and self-reflect. Are we treating our colleagues with the respect that they're due, and allowing someone to speak for 5 minutes? I just want you to really reflect that. This wasn't like a 30-minute, dissertation. I'm just really, really disappointed, and I wanted to share that with you all. And I ask that you reflect on your vote this evening, because I think it really matters for the kids. So I think I'll stop there.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right. Well, item 9.02, upcoming meetings, March 24th, 2026. A Board of Education combined study session and regular meeting. Item 10.01, our final recommended action is that the board adjourn. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Board Member Huff moved. A second? Board Member Thomas Tate, second. All in favor? Mary?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Six
Bye, everyone.
in favor, and we are dismissing at 7:04. Thank you all.